Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading for September 2022. I know I'm late. What is today, the 9th? It's been a long time since I've gotten this far behind, but we'll be fine. And then I think, they're meant to come out when they come out. But because you are the last, I am going to also bring in Archangel Raphael with Mother Mary. We're going to use the Tarot Night, which is not normally a deck I would use for you. It's very emotional, and I want to look at that part. And then we're going to use the Crystal Vision. Both these will be our clarifiers, but I like to call them the cards that take us deeper. The messages that take us deeper. And for your main spread, we're going to use the Tarot Dreams, which I love for you. This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. By the way, that's intuitively guided. Thank you for paying attention to your intuition. You may be in love with the Taurus. It's interesting. My daughter is a Scorpio, and we were talking the other night, and she's like, well, who would be my opposite? And I don't know why. First I said Aries, and I'm like, no. I said, I think Taurus. So as we were talking, I looked it up, and it was just funny because the very first thing that came up is a Taurus and Scorpio cannot keep their hands off each other in a romantic way. So I just found that interesting. Just say, don't shy away from your opposites. I feel like sometimes opposites complete us. Even though me and myself, I am with a Virgo and I'm a Virgo. Anyway. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. Everything is always pre-shuffled, but let's go ahead and move these. Tarot Night, by the way, that's what they look like. I really love them, but they are the images are darker. The Crystal Vision, I know a lot of you like the Crystal Vision, so that's another reason why I'm bringing it out. And again, the Tarot Dreams. This is what we'll start with. I tag the cards that I use. There's a program YouTube has where it allows you to tag, I like to tag the things that people question me about, but a lot of the tarot decks are not there yet. So they're getting better. They're adding more and more and more. So I'll try to tag them for you. Okay. I'm going to start with Archangel Raphael. And when I'm shuffling, I do want to remind you about the membership program I have begun. There's, been a little confusion, so it's the only reason I'm really talking about it. Not to push it, because I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. But there's 3 different tiers. Tier 1 is $2.99, and it's a thank you. It's a gratitude for my work. These are monthly, by the way. And then you can drop out whenever you want. There's no obligation. Tier 2 gives you special membership videos, and many times I pull readings or cards just, for each individual, unless it gets out of hand. And then Tier 3, and plus there's tarot lessons and other things. Tier 3 is the tier where we do live readings together, just us as a group, and they become, like we did one last night, and it became very intimate, very deep. So those are your 3 tiers that you can join if you want to. You certainly don't have to. And you can hit the join button right below the video. It doesn't commit you, it just shows you like what I just said, but probably more detail, and then decide after that. But I welcome you and I thank you. It will not affect my, I'm saying it won't affect my channel, even though I am behind, but it's really not that. I've had more personal readings than normal. So I really am trying to catch up on them. You know what I mean? So anyways, enough about me. Let's get into your reading. All right. I'm going to take that fresh air. Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me breathe easier in all ways. Fresh air. I was just telling myself this morning, I need to get outside more. You know, before the winter here, anyways, rolls around. And then we have stay positive. Stay positive. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me to be optimistic and take the appropriate action steps that support my health. Stay positive. You know, fresh air will certainly help that. Okay? And then let's bring in Mother Mary. Our words of wisdom. I think I'm going to start looking for an Archangel Michael deck soon too, because I've been feeling his energy, almost like putting a circle of protection around us. So, okay, let's keep going. Mother Mary for Taurus. Whoa. Okay, well that says caring. I'm not going to take it, but you have 3. What's going on here, Taurus? Boundaries. Boundaries. Let me bring this lid down a little bit. Boundaries. I am clear and honest with others about my expectations. I am clear and honest with others about my expectations. Boundaries. Father. You know, interesting, I've been feeling my father's energy around me very strongly lately also. He's crossed over. You know, I would say, yes, he was a flawed human, but I don't feel that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I loved him dearly, don't get me wrong, but, you know, he definitely had his flaws, as don't we all. My true father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship. And then look at this, watched over. I just got goosebumps because I do feel like this is saying that some of you, your father watches over you. Is like your protector. It's funny. It's funny. And I'm saying it's funny because I felt my father's energy so strongly. And with that energy, it's like all these good memories come up. You know, I have a lot of bad memories, but I also have a lot of good memories, and that's what's been like really shining is like the good memories. You know, the times that we spent together. You know, I was a daddy's girl until my parents got divorced when I was 13, and then everything changed. You know what I mean? But I was definitely a daddy's girl. And I'm saying that because I definitely feel that he's here to let me know that he's watching over me. And I feel like anytime my guides come in, your guides are saying the same thing. Watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over me and my loved ones. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over me and my loved ones. Boundaries, Father, watched over. Stay positive, fresh air. Alright, let's bring in the Tarot of Dreams. Give it a couple shuffles. Again, I do this for you. Well, I mean, I do just to help bring your energy in even more. But they are always pre-shuffled. Okay, let's give them a cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let your story unfold with the Tarot of Dreams. And then these 2 decks we will shuffle. Okay? Okay, bring my chair down a little bit. Okay. Just calm our minds. And the rest will follow. Be colorblind. Don't be so shallow. King of Swords. King of Swords can be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Some of you could certainly be on the cusp. We have, look at this, the Palace of Swords. Interesting. All these swords right out the bat. We have the Empress. Wow. We have the Four of Wands. You guys, this is the marriage card. Doesn't have to be marriage. This is a commitment. These are about two people who, you know, when I see this card, I think, okay, well, the love in this card or the love in this energy is really unconditional. You know, this is not like a fly by your seat type of relationship. This is, I feel like, long lasting, if not forever. Coming right beside that Empress. With the Hangman under this King. What's this King putting a pause to? We have the Nine of Wands. I'm taking your cards rather quickly. And that's because I feel like it wants to be read as a whole spread. But I do feel like this King is like putting a pause, maybe to some communication to this Empress. I feel like no matter what, the Empress can handle no matter what. You know, because the Empress has been there, done that. The Empress is living within her spirituality. You know, she's using her spiritual ears to hear and not so much like, I don't know. I just feel like it takes a lot to hurt the Empress because, you know, she's been through it all. Nine of Pentacles right underneath that. First thing I want to say, because I feel like probably the majority of you here are the Empress, and I love that the Nine of Pentacles came below that. This is you using your wisdom, your collective wisdom, you know, and when I say collective, I mean like of lifetimes. This is you definitely using this lifetime's wisdom and experiences to create something for you, and there's nobody who can create better than the Empress. Right? And you know, the Empress doesn't sit on these epiphanies. She moves on them. Nine of Pentacles. Success. Successful self-employment. Now, this is not magic, right? This is someone who's willing to put the work in. I find it interesting that we have these two nines side by side. This nine, the Nine of Wands, talks about the journey, right? A cycle that I've just perhaps been on. This is a journey where a lot of responsibilities, right? There was a lot to be done type of thing. I also feel like it's not about regret of the last cycle or the cycle before that or any of the cycles. It's about the learning from it, because in this card, what it's telling you is that your cycle that you were just on, or the pinnacle you were just on, taught you much. It taught you much. Maybe you don't realize it yet. Maybe you find that out as you're moving along within whatever you're creating. Two nines. This nine's looking at the Hangman. This nine's looking straight at me, as is the Empress. Wow, how interesting. We have the Death card, which is the card of Scorpio, which is kind of strange that I told you the story right from the beginning. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be a Scorpio, but this is a major arcana, so we always want to pay attention to the major arcanas. They're here to tell us something important. The Death card is about an ending, not big, you know, why? So that there can be rebirth. You know, the Empress is great at that, right? The Empress has learned when it's time to shut doors and when it's time to move on. Some of you, this could have been a marriage that maybe did come to an end. And maybe you did have, you know, it wasn't easy to overcome, but it was through your creative house that allowed you to really be born again. Now, I don't think that's everyone, because I feel like for some of you, this may be talking about a rebirth within your love life. And it's interesting because the King over here, again, doesn't matter the sign. This King, you know, it's about communication. It's maybe a king who hasn't communicated, right? Has held back their communication. The Empress isn't going to put up with that for long, though. She just isn't, right? I've been there, done that. You know, like if someone's not communicating with me and I'm expecting them to, well, then I'm just going to move on. You know, I feel like for someone, it's like this king almost, you know, maybe in another relationship, but with the promise that that relationship will come to an end. Now listen, if that's the case, I do feel like this king also carries a lot of responsibilities. You know, maybe he's responsible for his family or something like that. But the Empress isn't going to wait. You know, it doesn't mean that the Empress is saying no, but the Empress is going to get busy in her own life and create really magic in her own life. And then if this king does make that ultimate decision, right, then the Empress will revisit it. That's what I feel like. All right, let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have the Fool. New beginning. When you think about the Fool, think about a brand new day, a brand new path. This is the energy of where my past is not going to any longer affect my present or my future in a negative way, right? Stay optimistic. Where did I read that? Stay positive. Setting boundaries. Moon's underneath that card of Pisces, by the way, ruler of Cancer. This can talk about a full moon also. You know, tomorrow is the harvest moon. So anyways, this is about, you know, the Fool takes a chance. Okay, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's just get into this. Let's go deeper. First thing I want to say, as it relates to your money and you're putting the work in, you know, you're putting that focus into your creativity. And when I say your money, it doesn't always, like the Empress doesn't always have to be making money through her creativity, but it is her creativity that makes her feel alive. This just so happens to say that this Empress can really has success within her finances due to her wisdom. All right, crystal vision. Let's look at this king. See what this king has the Hangman for. Like what kind of pause is he putting into action. Interesting, we have the King of Wands who came in reverse. This is a king in the upright who is all about action, right? Like think of Aries and the seed planter. Leo and the sun and the star. Sagittarius, you know, fiery. Why am I saying all this? So the King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But here I feel like it's talking about more non-action, right? Because this king would take a chance. This king would move according to his desires. But I feel like there's something going on here. We have the Seven of Pentacles coming over the Palace of Swords. And look at this. Now we have the King of Swords right over the Empress. He's like, boop, he's jumped over. Huh, interesting. Now, what's in between the king and the empress, because now it is tying this king directly to this empress. Again, forget about the signs. It could just talk about communication. It could talk about truth. Maybe this king has to figure out how to live in his own truth. I feel like the empress has already figured that out. I feel like the empress also knows that, I can't make this king, like this king, if this king wants me, this king's got to take the actions, right? It's got to take the actions. But, here he is, right over the empress, and in between is the Seven of Pentacles. Well, to me, a Seven of Pentacles is something that's meant to be. Doesn't mean it has to be, right? I feel like this is about your tree soul of intentions. Like these pentacles on this tree, they come ripe when they're ready. This does talk about patience, though. That's one of its lessons. Hangman is also, a hold on time for some reason, trying to figure something out. I just feel like, I almost feel like this empress is like, I know we're meant to be together, and I feel like we will be together, but until we are together, I'm going to keep on moving, right? Keep on creating, keep on building, keep on loving, right? Think about the Empress. She's loving, nurturing, but also very strong, very wise. She has her boundaries in place. She has her boundaries, and I feel like one of those boundaries is she's saying to this king, until you can close the door on one thing, you and I cannot be. At least, maybe physically. We have the Ten of Swords. Interesting, coming over the Four of Wands, coming over the marriage card. I feel like this king is in a relationship, maybe a marriage, but I don't feel like this king wants to be there anymore. Now, I'm not telling you anything, like I'm not trying to surprise anyone. This is energy you would already know of. You're either the queen or you're the empress. And I feel like both know what's on the table. But this Ten of Swords tells me that, first of all, I want to be careful there's not a repeat pattern in this, right? I keep taking these swords over and over and over again. Listen, if anything, this may be the energy that brought the Empress to the Empress's energy. This may be what made her set her boundaries. But I have to be honest, I feel like this is related more to the king. And almost like, let's just say this person is in a relationship with someone else. I don't think there's joy or happiness left. I don't think there's love left. If anything, I feel like it's very difficult. I feel like potentially there could be a narcissist in the picture, which makes it even more difficult to leave, because they'll play a mind game, right? This king may be, someone may be playing mind games on him, but he's got to break free from that, right? That's his challenge, to break free. We can't break him free. He's got to break himself free. But I feel like here, he's ready. Why do I feel that? Well, then you have the Death card below the marriage card. So I do feel like it is coming next to the king. It's almost like it's reading in this direction. I just feel like someone is at the end of their rope. The king. I feel like the king is at the end of his rope. I'm saying him. It can certainly be her. Know that. I'm just reading, who's on the card. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is interesting. You see how that just flipped itself around? I pay attention how the cards come out. Very light, but it flipped itself around in the air. The Five of Wands. Five of Wands in the upright is fighting. Fighting. Five of Wands is drama. It is expecting an apology, but I'm not going to get it in this energy. What I want to be careful of is I'm not pulled into it. I do feel like this king was pulled into it. I feel like this Empress will not allow herself to get pulled into it. It's in reverse, though. Now, it's also 5. So 5 is asking for change, right? Change. Because what you're doing or what you're in isn't suiting you. Don't get pulled in the drama. Don't expect an apology if the person is just unable to apologize. Sometimes we just got to move on, right? It's like, I just want them to tell me that they're wrong and I'm right. Well, you already know that. You don't need it from their lips, right? Because you know it. You feel it. Interesting how the King of Wands and the Five of Wands both came in reverse. Another 9. 3 9s in a row. 999. Wow. Deep reflection, no doubt. Right? 9 is about the final reflection. Final judgment. So I can get ready to close the door. Some are in a life path 9, getting ready for your personal year, some are in a personal year 9 or a life path. But in your personal year 9, you're getting ready for that one magician's energy for next year. 999. 9 of Cups. This is harmony within. This is enjoying my life. Again, I feel like now we're moving back to the Empress, and I feel like this is about the Empress has, the Empress has put the work in. Not just for her pentacles, but also in her spirituality. I feel like, some people just aren't interested in knowing anything about the spiritual world, and that's fine, right? But there's many of us who are. Our curiosity, what we want to know, right? We couldn't have just been thrown down here. There must be purpose, there must be reason. Well, I feel like the purpose really is to find inner harmony first and foremost. That means we can't allow our past to affect us in negative ways. Again, staying positive. My right ear is just like ringing with the High Priestess. I have no doubt this Empress is, listen, she may even have telepathic communication with this king. But I feel like this is talking about her abilities also. This is your intuition, right? This is your GPS. That's what the High Priestess is for. When you see the Fool in a reading, the next place the Fool is going is to meet the Magician. And the Magician, and this is going to be someone in your life, right, is teaching you that you have all the power you need, all the experience that you need to face anything that may come your way. The High Priestess is the second person, let's say, that you meet. And the High Priestess is teaching you that your intuition is your GPS. It is your GPS for this lifetime, right? Trust your gut. Trust it. I feel like, I do feel like these two feel intuitively guided to each other, no doubt. I do feel like there's like a special connection between these two. But in the same breath, I want to say, until the king clears what the king needs to clear, I don't feel the Empress is really, not that she's being hard or anything else, but I do feel like she's set her boundaries. I feel like the Empress is like, I can feel the energy of this king. I don't even need, it reminds me of like, something's going on in my daughter's life, but I haven't talked to her. She's in Rhode Island. I'm in Pennsylvania. I can feel it, right? I can feel when there's something wrong. I don't need to be told. I just know it. Even if she denies it, I can feel it. That's what I'm talking about here. It's almost like I can feel that energy of the king. All right, we have Judgment. We have Judgment. Now, they came in reverse, but I don't really feel that they're in reverse. We'll leave them in reverse. I feel like someone's like, but Sandy, if they came in reverse, you got to leave them in reverse. You don't really have to. You can do whatever you feel in tarot, I feel. And then the Star. Okay. Judgment. It's a call to the present moment. It's your spiritual team. It's interesting because I feel like this reading feels more about this king wanting to be with this Empress. But I feel like this king has some real hardships right now that he's facing, or she. But I do feel like it can be overcome. I feel like this king is kind of lost. I feel kind of lost. Like, how do I say this? Like, well, when I think of you, Taurus, I think of, if you're in a relationship, a serious relationship, like, I do feel like you will, you'll give it everything you have until there's nothing left to give. And when there's nothing left to give, then you consider moving on. Now, I know that's not every Taurus, right? I know that. But it is part of, I feel like, your energy. So, why am I saying that? I'm going to get this king. And it's almost like this king is trying to figure out his next steps. But there feels like there's a lot of fear factors around that. Now, the Star is here, right? And I feel like until this king makes the cut that he needs to make, he's stopping his own dreams from manifesting. This is a lesson I feel like he's learning. And this is one of those lessons we can't teach another. They have to learn on their own. He's going to learn to set himself free. It's like you are the twinkle in his eye. But that doesn't mean life has not come in the way, right? Maybe I met you after. The Star is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. I do feel like I have some Scorpios here too. I'm going to be honest. I do feel like I have some Scorpios here. But the Death card is about, I feel like this king has to consider. No, I shouldn't say consider. I feel like he's already considered. He's got to find his way. I feel like he's with someone who's very difficult. And maybe, this king is thinking, I've got to clear this energy because the Empress isn't going to accept me any other way but free. Okay. Look at that. We have the Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck, but it's in reverse. That's interesting. One thing I do is I go through all my decks And I make sure everything's in the upright. Now, can I accidentally miss one? Of course. I just find it interesting that the Nine of Swords, which I like, on the reverse. In the upright, it talks about worry, unnecessary worry. You know, it's almost like, because it's in a reverse, I'm not worrying. I'm not going to worry. You know, what's meant to be will be. And if it's not, or if it doesn't be, then something else will be. I feel like I'm thinking as the Empress. I am really focused within my physical plane, creating my pentacles, giving birth to my ideas, all of that, creating success, however you want to measure that, for myself. For myself. Now, if you have children, you know, of course I mean for the family, but really inner work also. You know, it's just like, if I'm the Empress talking to the King, it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to sit here in a state of worry, waiting and wondering if you're going to free and clear yourself. You know, you either do or you don't. Meantime, I'm going to continue to live my life, even maybe to the point of dating other people. I don't know, but I don't think it's rolled out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and the Empress, you know, she does have patience. But it's not patience to sit there and do nothing and wait on someone. No, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. This King may be afraid, or it may be one of his worries, that this Empress will meet someone else. And again, this King, I do feel like he wants to free himself, but I feel like, you know, I feel like he's in a state of hell, and he's got to find his way out. Okay. Let's bring out, I'm going to bring these down. You know, interesting too is I want to say with Judgment here, you know, in the upright, this is your spiritual team, right? And because it's in reverse, you know, it's your spiritual team calling you to the present moment. Why? Because a rebirth wants to take place. The opportunity for it to take place may be coming up, right? Because the Death card is right there. Closing of a door so a new door can open. Period. It's like it's saying to this King, you know, here are your dreams. Here is the Empress, right? And listen, even though the star is in reverse, it's still here. It's still here. So I feel like it, you know, doesn't necessarily go away. But there's elements that I need to do so that I can create this in my life. You know, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, but it's not magic, right? It's you helping to manifest them. And when I say you, I mean, I do mean you, but right now I feel like I'm talking more to the King than anyone, right? He's got to, like, I don't feel like, I don't know. I want to stop saying I don't know, because I do know. It's just a term, you know, I don't know. Well, there you go. I can't stop saying it. I've had people, like, you know, really cut me down because of that. And, you know, those, I don't want anybody to worry, like, when I get comments like that, because, you know, I do whatever I feel I need to do, no matter what. I do take comments in consideration. I certainly do. But there's certain comments just as like, come on. You know, this is an hour-long reading. It's free. And, you know, why would you complain? Like, if you don't like it, move on. You know, like, nobody's pushing you to be here. And that's the type of comments, like, where it's like, just go. I don't know. I just wouldn't do that to someone else. All right, look at this. We have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Look at this. The Emperor. And then look at this. The Ace of Pentacles. Wow. The Emperor and now the Empress. Do I feel like this king is going to free himself? I do. I feel like someone's going to hear a communication of that. And then the Ace of Pentacles. Listen, I feel like then it moves into a relationship. Then, because maybe I haven't been able to have physical contact. But now this is about something, well, it's the king coming into the physical plane. Now, already here physically, but I mean into your world, or vice versa, depending who you are and what side you're on. Ace of Swords, into the Emperor, into the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. I feel like this king's guide, his guides, or hers, reach him. I feel like this king has had enough, has reached the end of his rope, no doubt. I feel like it's been a long time coming. And it's more about, maybe now something changes. I love how the Seven of Pentacles is also connecting the Emperor and the Empress. Again, Emperor can be is the card of Aries, but I'm looking at this like the Empress has already been created, and I feel like that's you. I feel like it's it's the energy of all the queens. Like I've walked the path of all the queens, and I have all that wisdom, right? And so I am on a certain vibration, and only another, someone with the same vibration is going to be able to stick. Wow. Do I feel like this king just raised his vibration? I do. Because now he shows as the Emperor. Interesting too, because I opened this reading again talking about opposites, and the Emperor and the Empress really are opposites. They look at the world differently, or let's say they're both in some way like the leaders of mankind, right? They help to lead in some way through their own wisdom. The Empress does it through her creativity and the loving and nurturing energy she gives out. The Emperor is more methodical and makes a plan and puts it to paper. And it's funny because of the swords, this could be someone who does get stuck in their head, but has learned, listen, I feel like just as we have evolved, now it's this king's turn. Wow. Almost don't want to take anymore, but I'm going to. Because I really want to see over Judgment and the Star, both being in reverse. 10 of Cups. It's also in reverse, though. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Because I feel like, it's interesting with the 10 of Swords and then the 10 of Cups coming over the Death card. So I feel like this is talking about, it's almost like this Emperor or a king, whatever title we want to give him, coming in and speaking to the Empress and saying, I have freed myself. I finally freed myself. It's taken a while. Now, it doesn't mean that the now Empress is like, listen, I feel like he wants the Empress, no doubt. And I feel like part of what moved him even sooner than later, and how do I say this? Because I feel like maybe this King of Swords would have stayed stuck within that relationship, that prior relationship, because now I feel like he's freed himself. But I feel like maybe without the influence of the Empress, and again, it's not like, I'm not like wagging my finger. It's just, I am who I am, and if you want to be with me, then, then you need to be free. Like, be free. And so he does. I'm not going to lie. I don't think this is anything that's happened overnight. Quite the opposite. I feel like it's been a while. And for me, the Ten of Cups in a reverse with that Ten of Swords above it, I feel like it's just talking about there is no love left in that previous relationship. There is no love left. It's almost like his spiritual team was trying to tell him that. And not just that, but it really held back what he had really wished for in his life. Wow. Justice. Look at that. Maybe someone just got a divorce. This is the cutting of ties, by the way. Whether it be a divorce, whatever I need, it can be energetic ties, but it is the cutting of ties. And you know what? I feel like the minute I cut the ties, it's like the balance becomes equal again. Like, I've been down here and I cut the ties and now I'm back to whole. That's what justice is about, making one whole again. And I feel like this king has been whole in a while. And listen, this can also be reversed. I want you to know that, because I feel like there are a few of you who, could be the one who have been like with this, I hate to give a title, but I feel kind of narcissistic type of energy, because I do feel like it's kind of held you back and held you down, the king or you. And, this is like an inner lesson that nobody else can do for you, right? It's like if it's not serving me, especially the Ten of Swords, over and over and over and over again, it becomes too much. There's no love left, right? The love has drained out. Maybe I divorced someone. And maybe the minute I do that, and listen, doesn't have to mean that, like, listen, maybe this king doesn't divorce immediately, but that, I feel like this means that they would no longer live at the same place. But ultimately, I feel like a divorce, a cutting of ties. Once and for all. Card of Libra, also. Three of Wands. Three of Wands. Wow. Well, it's like all of a sudden I'm looking at life with rose-colored glasses. All of a sudden I'm thinking about all that can be. Why? Because he feels free. This is an optimistic view. Just like Archangel Raphael kept saying, stay positive. Just stay positive. Interesting, because I feel like when this king frees himself, wow. Six of Cups. So, let's talk about this for a second. This is telling us quite a story. I feel like it's telling us more about the king, but it's because the Empress in some way is connected to this king, right? In some way. I definitely feel it's through love. But this is also, how do I say this? Because, Six of Cups can be the energy of someone of a younger time, right? Like maybe we reconnected and it just so happened, You know, we reconnected, but he was in a marriage or she was in a marriage, and maybe I was too, but I freed myself, right? Because the Empress is free of any kind of earthly binds, I feel, right? I just feel that. But this is good memories. This is treasured memories of someone. You know, it's almost like this king hasn't ever forgotten about you. And probably you, them. But it's coming under this Ace of Pentacles. It's like they're coming into your life. They're coming into your life. We got some cards over here. We have the Page of Swords. And then we have the Moon. Page of Swords and the Moon both came in reverse. The Moon is a card Pisces, ruler of Cancer. Again, we have the Moon tomorrow. You know, the Moon can cause uncertainty. You know, it's like traveling by the light of the night. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shadows that can hide. You can only see right in front of you, so to speak, versus the sun. But because it's in reverse, you know, and I feel like the Moon, because it causes uncertainty in reverse, it's a certainty. For some of you, this king may have been with a Pisces or a Cancer. But that's neither here nor there. It's interesting how this whole block right here are all in reverse. Okay. We're just going to take one more shuffle, but I'm actually going to kind of go above. And I just mean that as in, like, yes, I'm going to put the cards above the other cards, but I also mean that energetically. We have the Seven of Cups coming in reverse. Seven of Cups in the upright is trying to make a decision out of chaotic energy, right? It's kind of not trusting myself to make a decision. It's in reverse. And by the way, that puts it right over the Seven of Pentacles. That's a good thing it's in reverse. And that also puts it connected to the Ace of Swords. Someone's made a decision. Oh, I didn't even know I got so many cards. Wow. Death card again. Scorpio, double Scorpio. But I feel like this is about someone who has made an ultimate decision. Eight of Swords. Four of Wands. Look at that. Four of Wands again. And then the Five of Cups. Wow. Okay. Well, let's look at this from the Empress's energy, right? Even though she's the Empress, which means she's got much wisdom, right? She trusts her intuition, but she's still human. She's still human. And I feel like it's almost like when this king frees himself, like he connects immediately to this Empress. And I think that's good, because I feel like that's also what the Empress wants. And I feel like this king will want to move very quickly. It's interesting. Like, almost like proposing to you immediately. Like, I'm free. You know, will you marry me? And you're like, wait a minute. Slow down, you move too fast. Don't you want the night to last? So, I feel like the Empress is saying, let's slow down here. Let's slow down. Let's take each moment and enjoy it. I also feel like if this separation, divorce, like I feel like even though I feel like this king does free himself, and I feel like it comes directly to you, at the same time, I feel like almost like I'm still not going to give myself 100%. Or let me put it a different way. Like, I will not commit to marry you until this part is done and over with. Right? I don't need any of that drama in my life, especially if they were married or connected to a narcissist type energy. It doesn't have to be a narcissist, but I feel that. I feel that because I feel like I would never get out of this person what I need, right? Like they could do something that was like so wrong, but they would deny it, right? Deny, deny, deny. No. Especially for this king, swords, truth. Because remember, he came in the upright. So what does he truly seek? The truth. Beyond all. I feel like simply this is saying that this is about two lovers that are coming together. But this is also about real life, right? And people having to deal with their situations. I feel like the Empress has, I don't want to say been around the block, though I just said that. I just feel like the Empress trusts the universal energy so much now that she goes by her intuition. So now I feel like we're moving into when this comes together. Now, I do feel like the love is there. I do feel like the connection is there. All of that. I kind of feel like this king, whenever you met this king, has never forgotten about you. You've always been there, even if it hasn't been physically. At least from the point that you met. Maybe longer. You know what I mean? Maybe longer. Okay, now that we have this, I want to come back down to all these reversals, and I want to see if anything has changed. I mean, it should have. Well, hello, sun. Brand new day. Ruler of Leo. This is like feeling like a kid again. Man, do I feel like this king, no matter what, I mean, getting away from whoever they were with, it just feels fantastic. Three of Cups. Someone's intuition has been turned around. Three of Cups gives you a reason to celebrate. And it is in the sun's energy. This is the energy of joy. And it's a 3. So I kind of agree with the Empress. Like, we don't need to move it from 0 to 100. Let's enjoy each moment. Reason to celebrate. Wow. Hello, Ace of Cups. Unconditional love. I kind of felt it from these two. Right from the get-go. This may be someone, this could be a soulmate that had, you've had a connection to maybe many lifetimes together. I often think about like when we leave this earth and we all go to heaven, let's say, I feel like we're all going to be back together, right? Like with our greatest love, our twin flame, that kind of thing. I feel like it will all be back together. And I feel like, we're going to tell stories about our time on life, in this lifetime to those younger souls, to help them grow. Unconditional love. And I'm saying that because I feel like this is that type of love. It just is. And then we have the Page of Wands. So I feel like for everything that was flipped around or backwards, like judgment, right? Not paying attention to my intuition, not paying attention to my spirit guides. I feel like that changes your hopes. But I feel like this is more again for the kings, but probably for both, about dreams coming true. But look at the action it took. So again, it's not the magic, right, of these dreams. It took like our physical work to move to this point. And divine is just like, it's like the blessings then flow. What am I holding? Page of Wands. Page of Wands to me is very much like the Fool's energy. This is someone who takes a chance. This really is. This is someone who moves according to their desires. You know, it's interesting because connected to that Ace of Cups, I feel like someone loves the spirit of you. Someone loves your spirit. Okay, I think I'm going to let that go. And I'm not going to read all those cards, but I am. I feel like boundaries, you already know. I feel like it has shown us what the boundaries mean. Father, I feel like a lot of you, you know, and listen, this king may also have like father influence, because watched over is right next to it. And that's the card I want to read. Watched over. And just so you know, like if you're new, the reason why I wait to read the card at the end is because I feel like that's where the words are most profound. In these words, I feel like it's going to give us an even higher look at this reading. So, watched over. This card brings you a message of reassurance of your safety and asks you to drop any defenses or guards that may be currently preventing you from enjoying your life. By relaxing into God's protective arms, you reduce your stress level in healthful ways. God, Jesus, Mother Mary, and the angels have heard and answered your prayers for protection. You receive their answers via your repetitive feelings and thoughts, which guide you along the pathway of safety. Keep your mind sober and open so that you can clearly pick up on these divine messages, and be sure to take action where they direct you. So, not only are you being watched over, it's telling you how your guides are very active within your life. And then your prayers being answered. Now, we got to kind of let go of, you know, the control of how something must look, right? And trust more within our intuition. Listen, I feel like, you know, I feel like the Empress, like maybe the King story is the Empress's old story. And she's overcome that energy. But now the King has to do the same. I just love that the Emperor and the Empress are attached. I love that. And by the way, do I think this will go to the whole way? I do. Maybe I'm saying I do. Ace of Cups. I don't know, guys. I just love this. I feel like this is one of the best readings. It was very clear. Your thoughts will tell me everything, though. Your comments, so thank you for them. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there so I can get this reading out to you so you have something good that you can watch this weekend. I'm just trying to see, is there anything else? Well, let's just see what's on the bottom. Look at this. I just wanted to see what was on the bottom of this deck. The Two of Cups. Soulmates. I mean, I didn't need the Two of Cups to tell me that you were soulmates, because everything is showing me that, but maybe you needed that verification. I hope if you're the Empress, you've heard like what boundaries the Empress has put in place. If you're the king, male or female, I hope that you really truly heard, you know, and listen, sometimes you got to watch a reading more than one time. Or let's say you're this king and you have now moved out of that energy of the Ten of Swords. Watch the reading again. Because, you know, if it comes to your mind, then watch it again. Because you'll see it in a different light. That's how personal readings are too. I tell people, when you get a personal reading, keep it for a year. And as you're moving through, watch that reading every once in a while. And everyone, at least 99.9% of those that get a personal reading tell me that. Like, I watched it a month later and I saw it in a whole new light. You know, your guides know that. They're here to help you. They're here to help you. All right. I love you guys. I thank you. So much gratitude for all that you do for me. I thank you for sharing the videos. I thank you for your donations, really helping to keep the channel alive. I really appreciate donations because I do put a lot of work in the readings. But at the same time, I love what I do. You know, that is the Nine of Pentacles energy. Really loving what I do, but willing to put the work in, right? That's the measure of success. I'd be nothing without you guys, though. Truly. And, you know, I often think that we're all going to meet once we all cross over. And we're all going to be talking about, like, all of this. Do you know what I mean? So, I think your guides are very clear. Soulmate energy, no doubt. Ace of Cups, Four of Wands twice. I do feel like eventually, I feel like it's kind of really up to the Empress. I feel like she's the one that's going to make the decision of when it's time to make, listen, I feel instantly you kind of do make a commitment, but what I'm talking about is the ultimate, like marriage or moving in together or that type of thing, where we say to each other, it's you and me, baby, from this day on. It's you and me. All right, here I am, still talking. I love you guys. I thank you. I will see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.